The first question that I would like to ask you is, how well prepared do you feel you were coming from the Portola Valley School District, sort of the entire time that you spent there, with sort of the academics? How well prepared do you feel that you were?
I was extremely well prepared going to Prairie from Corte Madera. I think that in middle school we sort of gain our basic skills, and at Prairie I've sort of built on those skills, but I felt that I was extremely well prepared. I mean, going from 8th grade to high school is difficult for everyone, and I can remember feeling overwhelmed with the amount of work that I had, but I knew that I had the skills to complete the work. I wasn't struggling with the material, I was struggling with the amount of material.
I think that the Portola Valley school system just fostered my love for English and for history. I just think it was fantastic in that regard. And also Spanish. I went into Spanish 3 honors my freshman year, and that was honestly a breeze for me. I was one of the better students in the class. But I feel like I wasn't as prepared. Obviously there's a high level of preparedness in every other subject besides math, but that just might have been my experience with I think I had 3 different teachers that year.
I think in English we were really well prepared because we read a lot, and I think we really developed a passion for reading, starting in probably Miss K's class with the book clubs and all of that. But one thing I would say about the writing that we did is that when I went to Sequoia my freshman year, there was a different writing style that they were teaching that I'd never learned before. The way that it was set up, and a lot of other kids from middle schools knew what they were talking about, and I'd never learned it before.
One thing I really felt when I hit sophomore year, I went to AP Spanish, and I really felt like I was lacking in speaking. I felt like we didn't speak enough, and we did orals, and we were able to write stuff and then read off a page and memorize stuff like that, and that type of oral, but didn't feel like we were able to really have a conversation. If we were walk up to someone on the street and you couldn't speak it like you were just out and a normal person. And
yeah, at my school specifically, there were kids jumping to calculus AB already. It was pretty ridiculous.
In their freshman year.
Yeah, freshman year.
I don't know
if you heard of this, but Challenger, there's Challenger schools. These kids are coming in at amazingly ridiculously math levels.
Okay.
But they don't have all the athletic stuff that we had, which is the thing I wanted to praise. Athletically, I think you guys can vouch for it. Athletically, we're coming in really strong in high school, jumping in at the varsity level, pretty much sophomore to freshman year, and it's really a good feeling.
Yes, technology should be involved, but I feel like it should be more pointed towards electives so that it benefits you in things like what Avery was talking about with Excel and things like that, because you're going to have to use those in very specialized classes. But as far as technology within classes, you're really only going to need it for writing essays. You don't need to have computers in every single class. I think it takes away from what you're learning and how you learn it. How we've all been saying that Dr. D's classes were the most memorable thing that we remember from middle school. It's because we learned how to listen to lectures and how to take notes and how to be a student.
Is there any one project or activity, unit, lesson in Spanish, PE, it doesn't have to, it can be any subject, that really stands out in your mind?
Definitely Dr. D's history. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, I mean those were something. I mean, even now, were they 2,000 words or something like that?
Yeah, 2,000. Yeah, and they were all based on his lectures.
5,000 words.
Yeah, I mean, anyways, we made us do these really high-level papers, which was actually really an introduction to kind of what we were going to be doing later on. And I thought that was, I guess that was 7th grade, but that was great. And, learned a lot from that.
I think more importantly for me with Dr. D is he kind of taught me that any subject could be interesting. It just depends on how you teach it and how it's presented to you. I remember learning about things in history that I did not at first think that would be entertaining in any way, shape, or form, the basic evolution of mankind and the first steps onto land from trees. Does anybody else remember that lecture where he's hacking out the bananas oh my god, I have this much fruit, hey ladies, check me out, that thing was he knew how to give lectures, present material in such a way that would engage you and make you so excited about being in class. And so I just remember being ecstatic walking into that room and oh my god, it's a lecture day. Just knowing that any material could be interesting made me go into high school being okay, this class seems like I might not like it, but let's try it out because it might be really cool. And just having that mindset really let me try things that I never thought I would like and enjoy them immensely.
So when I was here, the class that probably most stood out to me was Miss Brown's science class in the third year. I love that. That just hooked me into science, and she made it so interesting. All the labs we did were really hands-on, always built things, or, you know, it was just a great class.
As far as critical and analytical thinking, kind of combined with oral communication, we did our first fishbowl and Socratic seminars in 8th grade or 7th grade, something like that. The open discussions where you have some people sit in the middle and they have a discussion, then everyone around watches, takes notes, and then you switch. I have done that so many times in every year of high school, and almost everyone in my class had never done it before. And I don't think I've ever felt so prepared for like an open discussion where there's so much pressure on you to like perform and come up with ideas really quickly. So that was really helpful. And then also for the creativity sort of thing, I kind of felt like some of the electives that we didn't really seem to have much of a point. Like, we didn't seem to do very much, and we were really, really guided through each step. Like, you weren't really allowed to do much on your own, or they didn't seem to have much influence on anything else you were doing.
Yeah, definitely, I mean, critical and analytical thinking, I think it's worth saying again. I think definitely it's one of, if not the absolute most important thing you can have is, you know, actually being able to know why something's important rather than just memorizing information and, you know, actually being able to process it. I felt, you know, really prepared going into high school and actually being able to know what I'm thinking and actually know why what I'm learning is important rather than just blindly memorizing it.
I definitely developed my presentation skills here pretty well. Got plenty of opportunities to make some quality presentations, research, you know, figure out how to set it up, get the feel for it before high school, and it really helped. Just gotta thank CMS for giving me the opportunity to be able to present it a lot of the time.
Just kind of goes along with critical thinking a little, but problem solving is something that I think a lot of kids in high school don't, or a lot of kids in middle school don't come out with, and I think it's something really important. And I know coming in first year in math in high school was definitely a lot of focus on problem solving and learning how to look at a problem, really approach a problem, and give you really hard problems, and then looking at it and go, wow, I don't even know how to start this, and then trying to figure out how to start it and get going. And I think it wasn't something I really picked up in middle school, but then again, I don't think that was something many people pick up in middle school. And you could give problems like that in math class and stuff like that, I think it'd be a really huge opportunity for kids at Corte Madera to really pick that stuff up.
We live in a bubble. We grow up in this little bubble, and we go to school in this bubble. I went to Windmill, and I graduated here in 8th grade, so that's a long time here. And going to Woodside was kind of a shock.
I formed some really lasting friendships when I was at Corte Madera. I mean, even though I haven't seen a lot of these people in 4 years, I mean, I still feel a connection with them, and I know that wherever I am, if I see someone from Corte Madera, I will always go up to them and say hi and, you know, see how they're doing. And I think that this may be, I don't know personally, but from what I see from the middle schoolers now, on Facebook and, you know, when I go to Roberts, they are very, very, very different than what we were doing and who we are in 8th grade, and who we were in 8th grade.
What we were wearing.
Yeah. What we were wearing.
Throw that out there.
They're trying to be more mature.
I think that I definitely don't know why. I don't know if it's the media presence or if it's the social media presence, but I definitely think that, you know, our grades in general were a lot more naive to a lot of different.
Thumbs up if you agree, thumbs down if you don't agree with me. Do you think the parents would go for gentle, subtle bubble popping and exposure?
What does that mean?
I don't know. I feel like parents would. I'd love it. Parents would all go for it.
Gentle. I said
Parents would
I've been trying to think of a way to like, you know, like kind of like ease the bubble transition, because like there's no easy way to do it, because like all the kids go to the same school. So like an idea would maybe be like field trips to like maybe like some of these areas to like meet the kids who like live there, like see how they live, like oh this exists, or oh that exists. Maybe like that's an easier way, or like maybe transfer students from other places. Because like the kids themselves don't really change, because it's the same kids from Coromandel to Corte Madera.
Right.
So maybe taking the kids here and bringing them to like the places instead of the places here.
Teachers are basically your third parent. I think that you spend a lot of time with teachers, and this may sound cheesy, but I knew that the teachers loved us. I knew that they were willing to go the extra mile for us to do well in their class. I knew that all the teachers wanted us to grow and to experience learning and to love learning. And I think that's where my love of learning started, was at Corte Madera, because I knew that the teachers wanted us to be prepared for high school, and you know, were willing to actually foster relationships with us that were outside of the classroom as well. So I really cannot stress how much the teacher-student relationship really made me love Corte Madera.
I knew you were all incredible when you were here in school, but here 4 years later, I'm just completely blown away by your maturity, your poise, and how well you've done with this.